On June 9, 2026, Xi Jinping concluded his visit to Pyongyang. He arrived one day and rushed back home the very next. So, what exactly happened that made him lose interest in staying in North Korea? During this visit, the North Korean media didn't show him any respect at all. Besides exposing photos of Xi Jinping and Peng Liyuan wearing glasses, they also released various angles that belittled Xi. In these shots, Kim Jong-un is seen calling the shots, while Xi Jinping listens intently. In some scenes, Xi is seen following closely behind Kim Jong-un's every step. In other shots, Xi Jinping is standing with his hands down respectfully, listening to Kim Jong-un's instructions like a junior. Someone calculated that Kim Jong-un humiliated Xi Jinping at least 4 times. Why did Kim Jong-un dare to do this? What exactly did he see? Welcome to Watching the World with Wayou. Hello everyone, I'm Chen Wayou. Xi Jinping visited North Korea again after a 7-year gap. It was also his first overseas trip in 2026. The delegation included Politburo Standing Committee member Kai Chi and Foreign Minister Wang Yi, but notably absent was his 3 administration advisor Wang Huning. As soon as Xi left, Wang went on a low-profile research trip to Xinjiang. Did Xi rush back home because he was worried about trouble brewing at home? Today, we'll talk about how Eunuch Wang and Fatty Kim III teamed up from inside and out to play tricks on Xi the steamed bun. When Xi the steamed bun arrived in Pyongyang, the welcome ceremony prepared by Fatty Kim III looked decent. But compared to 7 years ago, when 100,000 North Koreans lined the streets, it was a bit underwhelming. To put it in terms everyone understands, the protocol was downgraded. Now, look closely at these next 4 scenes. It's not just about the shrinking hospitality, but Fatty Kim III's deliberate humiliation of Xi the steamed bun. The first insult, the glasses photo. On the evening of June 8th, Xi Jinping and Peng Liyuan joined Kim Jong-un and his wife at the Pyongyang Indoor Stadium to watch a performance. North Korea's state media, KCNA, released many photos from the event. Among them were several images of Xi Jinping that had never been seen before, sparking widespread international attention. In the photos, Xi Jinping is wearing a pair of very thin-rimmed glasses, while Peng Liyuan is wearing black, thick-rimmed ones. Some might think nothing of it. It's just a pair of glasses, right? Is it worth making a fuss over? You see, in the CCP's propaganda ecosystem, this is an extraordinary image. Since taking power, Xi Jinping has always presented himself as a strongman, deliberately distinguishing himself from leaders like Hu Jintao and Li Keqiang. His official propaganda photos have never shown him wearing glasses. In the logic of CCP political propaganda, the leader must be perfect, robust and full of energy. Glasses, however, symbolize aging, and Xi Jinping's health has always been a top secret matter for the CCP. So even if he actually wore glasses, the Chinese people would never be allowed to see it. In photos and videos from state media like Xinhua and People's Daily Online, shots of them wearing glasses were quietly edited out. North Korean media, however, had no such qualms, showing Xi Jinping and Peng Liyuan wearing glasses to the entire world. North Korea's entire propaganda system was copied from the CCP years ago. Their propaganda staff couldn't possibly be unaware of this CCP taboo. KCNA's deliberate choice to release these photos shows Kim Jong-un is silently declaring to the world, I can help you maintain a perfect image, or I can show everyone the side you want to hide. The second insult, the narrow-necked bottle. During the visit, Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un planted a pine tree together, symbolizing evergreen friendship and an enduring bond between the 2 nations. But after the footage was released, many netizens noticed that the tree they supposedly planted was already quite tall. They were just watering it for show. Many joked in the comments, why don't 2 suns collide from gravity? Can those 2 go down and be fertilizer? They have sun and water, but they're missing the air of freedom. Actually, sharp-eyed viewers might have noticed an even more ironic detail. The watering cans they're holding, with their long, narrow necks and round bellies, are a long-standing pun on the Chinese internet. Narrow-necked bottle. It sounds like Xi Jinping, and this pun is already widely known in China. In fact, this homophone has been used so much that even the words narrow-necked bottle have become a sensitive term online. Kim III Fat clearly did his homework. He personally chose this specific watering can design, making sure they both held one while watering the tree for the cameras. It was a brilliant move because it's irreproachable. What could Xi Jinping do? Throwing a tantrum and saying, "I don't like the shape of this can," would have been the real joke. So he had to smile and bend over to water the tree, letting that narrow-necked bottle appear elegantly in his hand before billions of eyes worldwide. Being unable to complain is the ultimate form of humiliation. So, you see, Kim III Fat is quite wicked. Without saying a single word, he made sure everyone who knows Chinese memes got the message. Now let's look at the third insult, word games. After the two finished watering the tree with Xi Jinping, they erected a monument next to it. Kim Jong-un had another little scheme. Look at the inscription. It's written in both Korean and Chinese. The first line in Korean says, "China-North Korea friendship will always be green." And then in Chinese, it says, "China-North Korea friendship will last forever." The second line, in Korean, says this tree was planted by Comrade Kim Jong-un and Comrade Xi Jinping. Notice that in this row, the three characters for Kim Jong-un in Korean are placed before Xi Jinping's. Also, Kim Jong-un's name is visibly one size larger than Xi Jinping's, even in the Chinese section below. Kim Jong-un's font size is also slightly larger than Xi Jinping's. This detail breaks a long-standing convention in China-North Korea diplomacy. In the past, when CCP leaders visited, their names always came first in ceremonies and signatures. The North Korean leader's name followed. This was the default big brother, little brother dynamic. Kim's move uses a stone monument to tell the world he no longer regards Xi Jinping as the boss. Now for the fourth insult, denuclearization. On May 15, 2026, the Trump-Xi summit was held in Beijing. Afterward, a White House fact sheet explicitly stated that Trump and Xi agreed the goal for the Korean Peninsula remains denuclearization. That is to say, Xi Jinping must have made some kind of commitment or statement to Trump regarding the denuclearization of North Korea. With this commitment, Xi flew to Pyongyang. But what happened after the Xi-Kim summit? In Xinhua news agency's official press release, the words denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula vanished without a trace. The 4 points Xi Jinping proposed to Kim Jong-un were about traditional friendship, economic cooperation, and cultural exchange, but he didn't say a single word about the nuclear issue. Even more dramatically, the day before Xi Jinping arrived in Pyongyang, Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong, issued a public statement. She gave a tough response to the so-called consensus between Chinese and U.S. leaders on North Korea's denuclearization, clearly declaring that North Korea will never give up its nuclear status. The timing is key. You see, Kim Jong-un made the first move, forcing Xi Jinping to not even dare to talk about it in the end. So North Korea's nuclear possession is no longer something Xi and the CCP can interfere with. Kim Jong-un's attitude was his response. "Baozi, you're not the big brother. I, Fatty III, have my own plans." It's clear that despite the repeated humiliations from Fatty III, Baozi endured it all. Do you think he didn't know it was a humiliation? Wrong. We can all see that the CCP specializes in these propaganda tactics, and even North Korea learned from them. Fatty III's methods of testing the waters have even surpassed his teachers. Baozi's people certainly knew, but Shi Baozi still endured it. What does this indicate? Here's the thing. Kim Jong-un is a master of political survival. In his early years, he received a systematic education in CCP history. His understanding of the CCP's internal rules, conventions, and taboos is definitely on par with most CCP officials. He must have known that these humiliating actions would cause Xi Jinping to lose face, so why did he still do it? The answer is likely in Beijing, not Pyongyang. Analysts believe that behind Kim Jong-un's series of actions is a core judgment. Xi Jinping's words might not carry weight anymore. This judgment has a logical basis. In early 2026, Xi Jinping ousted Zhang Yusha, the first vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, during an intense internal political struggle. This was a high-risk move that indeed made him appear, for a time, to have regained some military dominance. But the price was that he became almost isolated within the military. Several branches of the military deliberately avoided the term Chairman Xi in their statements during the study campaign. Meanwhile, a large-scale personnel reshuffle is quietly taking place at the top levels of the CCP. Kai Qi's confidant, Wei Xiaodong, has fallen from power, and the core of Xi Jinping's Fujian faction is under attack. Li Xiaohong and others were expelled from the party and public office, and Wang Zhonglin was dismissed and reassigned. Is Xi Jinping's power stable? Kim Jong-un, sitting in Pyongyang, might see it more clearly than many others. North Korea, right on the border with China, has always had a much sharper sense of Beijing's political winds than the outside world imagines. While Xi Jinping was receiving round after round of hospitality from Kim Jong-un in Pyongyang, another play was quietly unfolding on Beijing's political stage. On the same day Xi departed, Wang Huning, chairman of the CPPC, appeared in Xinjiang for an inspection tour. This timing is unusual. According to CCP convention, when the top leader travels abroad, Politburo Standing Committee members usually stay behind in the capital and avoid high-profile public activities. Wang Huning's Xinjiang trip wasn't about staying home. He actively appeared in the public eye. Moreover, he went to Xinjiang, an area of affairs he oversees. Even more noteworthy is the framework he emphasized in Xinjiang: centralized and unified leadership of the Central Committee. This echoes his recent statements at CPPC events, where the phrase "Xi is the core" was almost entirely absent throughout. This Wang Huning seems quite different from the one who used to shout "Xi is the core" at every opportunity. On June 8th, the same day Xi Jinping flew to Pyongyang, the 8th group of the CPPCC's Xi Thought Study Group held its second quarter study session. This was originally a routine event to praise Xi thought, but the members' statements at the meeting included a rare choice of words. They unanimously emphasized the need to always uphold the overall leadership of the Communist Party of China, especially the centralized and unified leadership of the CCP Central Committee, and to ensure that the ultimate authority over foreign affairs rests with the CCP Central Committee. Emphasizing that the ultimate authority over foreign affairs is with the CCP Central Committee, not Xi Jinping. In the past, this was almost unimaginable. All high-ranking CCP officials know that foreign policy power is actually concentrated in Xi Jinping's hands alone. Centralized and unified leadership is just a slogan for the outside world. It's never said internally. But now, this phrase appears in the official CPPCC symposium records. Observers have reviewed the statements made by the 8th group of the CPPC Foreign Affairs Committee since 2025. And found clear vacillation in the rhetoric. Sometimes they mention Xi as the core, and sometimes they don't. And when they do, the strength of the wording varies. This vacillation isn't due to a lack of political savvy, but is precisely a signal of a shift in the political winds. There's another signal. Just as Xi Jinping arrived in Pyongyang, the People's Daily and People's Daily Online published an article in a prominent position praising the Yangtze Delta Region Institute of Tsinghua University, Zhejiang. The Yangtze Delta Region Institute of Tsinghua University, Zhejiang, is where Hu Jintao's eldest son, Hu Haifeng, held his first position when starting his career. He worked there for 5 years. For the party media to publish an article praising this institution in a major section is equivalent to indirectly supporting and building momentum for Hu Haifeng. Since the second half of 2025, Hu Haifeng's treatment has quietly improved. As the 4th-ranked vice minister of the Ministry of Civil Affairs, he was invited by the Shanghai Party Secretary to attend the Lujiazui Forum. He also joined other high-ranking officials to unveil the plaque for the China Capital Market Association. This level of protocol clearly exceeds the treatment corresponding to his actual rank. Hu Haifeng's name has been popping up frequently. There were also instances of him surfacing during Xi Jinping's visit to North Korea. The Hu faction's moves seemed deliberately timed for this special window to keep themselves in the public eye. Xi Jinping hurried back from Pyongyang. Besides being unable to bear Kim Jong-un's humiliation, was he also afraid of trouble at home and losing his throne? There was a rumor that Xi Jinping consulted a master for a fortune reading and was told the party and the country would fall. It seems Wang Huning is also someone Xi Jinping is wary of. After all, he's a veteran of 3 administrations and a classic political opportunist. As a veteran of 3 administrations, Wang Huning's legend lies in his resilience. He's a rare core strategist in CCP history who served 3 consecutive top leaders. In the Jiang Zemin era, he was the architect of the 3 represents. In the Hu Jintao era, he led the theoretical construction of the scientific outlook on development. When Xi Jinping took power, he transformed again into a key architect of Xi Jinping thought. Each time, he accurately read the top leader's mind, taking what they wanted to say but couldn't articulate, and organizing it into a complete ideological discourse, which then served to bolster the leader's image. Gilding their reputation, that's his logic for survival. He doesn't take sides, but always serves the most important person. But what will he do when that person starts to become less important? Looking at Wang Huning's actions in the CPPC since 2025, some have noticed that his efforts to praise Xi have been periodically decreasing. CPPC study sessions no longer mention Xi as the core, and he himself doesn't appear at related events simultaneously. The wording of his statements has quietly shifted from maintaining Xi as the core to the centralized leadership of the Central Committee. In the CCP system, every choice of wording is a result of political calculation. Therefore, this shift is absolutely intentional. Analysts believe Wang Huning has started betting in another direction, though we don't yet know on whom. Perhaps he's waiting for the favor of a 4th-generation master. At least one thing is certain: Xi Jinping's power is not rock solid. There are so many two-faced people around him that he can't even handle them all. The political wrestling at the top of the CCP is entering a new phase. This is a phase that's not so favorable for Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un has sensed this, choosing to express his judgment through subtle diplomatic moves. Even Kim the Third Fat is looking down on Xi the Steamed Bun now, so how much longer can Xi the Steamed Bun's power actually last? Let us know what you think in the comments section. Alright, that's all for today. This is Why You Watching the World. See you next time.